Good morning. Good morning, afternoon, morning for some of you, I guess. Depends on where you are and what time zone you're in. So let's talk about groups. We're going to get right into it. So here's the thing. I have been experimenting with all sorts of groups for about, I'm going to say 10 months or so, for quite a period of time actually, because I wanted to kind of learn how to utilize groups to, not only build my friends list, but to gain exposure. Because that's really the key for us as, entrepreneurs, is to gain a bigger exposure in kind of in the marketplace in North America, Australia, New Zealand, all of the places where we offer our product and business. We want to gain exposure. And sometimes, depending on how big our friends list is and how many followers we have, our exposure can be very limited at first, especially at first. When I first started, I had 200 friends on Facebook, and most of them were family that I didn't even speak to, actually. So, when I first started, it was a bit difficult to kind of gain that exposure because I didn't know what I was doing. When we first started, we didn't have any tools to plug into either. My gosh, we didn't even have a comp plan when I first started. So I started kind of utilizing groups. I joined some groups. I ended up getting this house with a big greenhouse in the middle of it. So that, gained a lot of sort of momentum in some of the greenhouse and garden groups. But here's the thing that I noticed. I noticed that you don't actually need, something as lavish as a greenhouse inside your house to get people to want to follow you or friend request you or share your posts for that matter. So if you have something that you're passionate about, something that maybe is a little different or a little quirky, something that's, not everybody's going to see, because here's the thing, guys, I live in a different climate than, other people might live in, like people in Florida and people in, California. I have a very different climate. I'm in Canada, right? So when I'm joining groups with people who live in Florida or California, I have different things here than they do. So they don't always see these things, and they don't always, some of these people are trying to grow things that are really only native to Canada and vice versa. So if you find something pretty simple, it doesn't have to be lavish. If you find something pretty simple that you can find a group about and post about, you never know what's going to take off. So basically what you want to do is you want to join the group, okay? And you want to make a post introducing yourself. So that's really, really important. Make a post introducing yourself in that group, because you're already going to gain exposure just by introducing yourself, who you are, why you decided to join the group, looking to meet new people, looking to, connect with people that have the same interests that you do, things like that, okay? So join the group and introduce yourself. Pretty simple, right? Put a picture of yourself. Make sure you put a picture of yourself. Don't just put a picture of the item. You want people to connect with you, okay? Because, we talked about before about, people connect more with a feeling. They connect more with an emotion than they do an object, okay? So when you join that group, always introduce yourself, okay? You're gonna want to be present in the group often. So don't just, comment in there once a month. Be present in that group, because I'm telling you, it will be your ticket to exposure and leads for the future. But you have to gain trust in that group, okay? So I joined a whole bunch of groups. I was in 20 garden groups. I left a bunch of them. I kept the ones where I kind of connected with and where people started to recognize me. So when I started making a post, I started to get quite a bit of engagement, regardless of the post, really. Sometimes I would make a post that I wouldn't think would get anything, and I would get a ton of engagement on it. So once you start to kind of build credibility in the group and you make posts about, whatever it is the group is about, those people start to trust you within the group, okay? So here's the thing. Be present, comment on people's posts, give good tips, give good ideas, make consistent posts in the group, whether it be once a week, twice a week, just to gain that trust and make sure your face is in there, or do a video or whatever. And, once you start to gain that momentum and you start to gain that trust in that group because you're present in there and you're posting in there, here's what you're going to do. And I have been working on this for months, guys. So this isn't something I'm just throwing out there. This isn't something that I just learned from from a coach. I have been working on this every day for 9 or 10 months. Okay, so this is proven. I've been doing it and it works. Okay. So, but the key is you have to gain trust in the group. If you haven't gained trust in the group, and you haven't gained people commenting on your posts and, the interaction within the group, then it's not going to work. So you have to gain trust in the group. It is key, okay? So once you start to gain trust in the group, you're not going to go through and start spamming people. You're not going to go through and start friend requesting hundreds of people, because that doesn't work either, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to start doing lives on your Facebook feed about those topics. I can tell you right now, if you go on my Facebook feed and you find my lives where I talk about gardening, and you see I've shared it into the gardening groups, I have anywhere from 1,000 to 8,000 views on those lives. If you look at a live that I've done, a basic live, curiosity live, live about my family, I have anywhere from 200 to 500 views. Massive difference. Massive difference. And it's not just the views. Yesterday, I literally made a post in the garden group about these caterpillars that showed up in my greenhouse. Guys, everybody's got caterpillars. It's nothing amazing. They're caterpillars. Okay? They're caterpillars. I made a post in a garden group. What the heck are these things on my parsley and dill plant? Literally that simple. People are all over it. Okay, couple hundred comments. Don't kill them, they're friendly, they're butterflies, yada, yada, yada. People are very passionate about their critters, okay? So then what I did, after I got all that engagement on that post, I actually did a live, because I'm in the 14-day Ray Higdon challenge, okay? So I did a live. I used Ray Higdon's format with the call to action, which I actually talk about on my live training if you look in the units. I did the live with a call to action at the end. I did the live about gardening with vinegar. It's about gardening. I don't talk about, the product or the business. I talk about gardening. I give tips about gardening with vinegar. And I showed the caterpillars. I had 2 calls to action at the end. One, if you are here for the vinegar tips and you want to know all things vinegar and all the amazing things that vinegar can help with, type tips in the comment below and I will get in your inbox with my source to all things vinegar. If you are here for the caterpillars, which I'm sure lots of you are, make sure you click that follow button above. That way you can follow the caterpillar journey with me, because I'm going to be posting their journey in my stories. And you won't miss them turning into a chrysalis and then turning into a butterfly. Because I think going from chrysalis to butterfly is going to be pretty darn amazing. You're not going to want to miss that. Okay? So those were my call to action. I got several people saying tips. I got several people in my inbox. And within 30 minutes, I got 6 followers. And yes, it took me 10 months of figuring out how to do it. But now I'm giving you the exact way to do it. Literally, exactly the way to do it. In the beginning, I was joining groups. I was posting here and there. I was getting lots of engagement. Then I was commenting on the engagement and friend requesting people. Which, yes, that, you can gain some friends that way. Absolutely, you can gain some friends that way, because I have. But I'm telling you right now, it's a lot less work if they're friend requesting you and they're following you. A lot less work. So find yourself a couple of groups, okay? If you crochet, find yourself some crochet groups, okay? Join 4 or 5 of them. Make some posts. Choose the top 2 that are, giving you the most engagement and people are the most connecting with you. Delete the other ones. Top 2, okay? Then you're going to continue to engage in that group. You're going to continue to make posts. Maybe you're going to crochet something that people haven't seen before, something new, something funny. Post that crochet. You start getting lots of engagement on that. You comment on there saying, I'm going to go live and give my tips on how I crocheted this. Go live on your own Facebook feed. Very, very important. Go live on your own Facebook feed. Okay? Give the tips for crocheting. Have a call to action at the end. Message me if you'd like the pattern, or message me if you'd like to know the exact colors I used. Whatever it is, call to action at the end. Okay? Share it into those 2 groups. You will be mind blown at the engagement you can get. And I don't care what group it is. I don't care. You can find a group that you'll connect with. Everybody has something. Everybody has something. You can join parenting groups, give parenting tips. The biggest thing here is to connect with the people in the group. Okay? If you can find groups that are public, then they don't even have to accept when you share the live in the group. It automatically posts. One of the garden groups that I share to is public and it's perfect. They don't even care. It just posts, okay? If the group is private, the admin has to accept it. But if all you're talking about is exactly what that group is about, they'll accept it unless in the guidelines it specifically says you cannot share lives into the group or yada yada. However, one garden group that I'm in does say that, but because I have gained exposure in there and people like my content and people comment on my things, I've grown, to be accepted by the group. They still accept my live in there. Because otherwise, I have to go on the post, which you can do this too. I copy the link from my live, I go on the post, and the people that are saying, oh, I love this, I want to follow the journey, I paste the live in the comments so people can click on it and go to your live. This is huge. If you guys are trying with groups, and I know some of you are because we talked about building with groups before, and we talked about getting in groups so that you can, build your friends list and whatnot. I have been trial and error for 10 months, and this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. They will come to you. They will friend request you. They will follow you. They will ask for your tips. And you will gain their trust real quick, way quicker than going in there and just friend requesting a whole bunch of people, because that's spammy, right? You don't want to do that. And then people deny your friend requests and then Facebook starts shadow banning you. Like, it's crazy. You don't want to do that, okay? This is the way to do it. Does anybody have any questions before I hop off? I wanted to keep it quick and simple so that you can tag your teams in here so that they can learn how to build with groups also without being spammy. But that's about it. Make sure your profile is public, or else you can share into groups all day long. Nothing's going to happen. So make sure your profile and your posts are public when you do it, and gain the trust of your people in the group. It doesn't matter how big the group is. It doesn't, okay? The only other thing I wanted to say quick is when you are in a group about crocheting and you are trying to build relationships with people in a group about crocheting, you better well have crocheting posts on your Facebook, or else you just look spammy. Don't go joining crochet groups just to click friends on people and then they go to look at your Facebook and all you're talking about is motorcycles. Nobody's going to join. Like, nobody's going to accept your friend request, okay? So make sure your posts on your Facebook also show that you love whatever you're in that group for, okay? Kimberly Dirth, groups to avoid, I would say, are mom groups are tough. Mom groups are tough. They're really, really tough to build an audience in. I would keep it like niche specific. like gardening, crocheting, motorcycle, like niche specific, like something that you specifically love, I would keep it like that. Okay. If you go into very broad groups like mom groups or business groups, like very broad groups, it's going to be really, really hard to build a relationship in there like that. Okay. Third thing is, if any of you would like me to critique your Facebook, I will do that. Okay. I don't know, 3 to 5 people. I would be okay with 3 to 5 people. I will critique your Facebook if you like. Just, let me know in the comments or message me. You just need to understand that I'm going to be totally brutally honest. So don't ask me to critique your Facebook if you don't want to hear the answers. Okay. If you don't want to hear the advice, because I'm going to be honest entirely. All right. So that's about it. Any other questions? I'm going to pop off here. And then if you have any team that you would like to tag in this training so that they can get some info on building, exposure and friends and leads in groups, you can do that. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining me, guys. And have a great rest of your day.